How to build $1 million team. I can tell you guys from experience that the success I've had is, yeah, partly because I work hard and I apply myself, but it's about the people around me who have helped me achieve success. Here at Real Men Real Style, I've built a team and I'm very proud of them. But Eric Bandholz, the team that he's built and the way he's built it actually opened my eyes and helped me improve the way I'm running my team. So this presentation is from my event, Menfluential, formerly StyleCon, in which Eric got up on stage and he shared how he grew his business to a multi-million-dollar business. The guy was on Shark Tank. The guy has built an entire multi-million-dollar business around beard products. Who would have thought you could do something like that? But Eric believed in it. Eric thought that, and he, most importantly, created a team that can fulfill all the logistics, that can basically has the vision, that can actually deal with the customer service issues. So if you're building up a business, if you are considering getting into business, you want to understand how to better run a business, this is going to be a great presentation. If you're not familiar, my Menfluential conference, day 1 is business development day. Day 2 is personal development day. So this was from day 1. And guys, without further ado, here is Eric Bandholz on how to build $1 million team.
And what I'm going to do here, I think is going to be pretty valuable because I'm going to open our book as to specifically what we do at Beard Brand and what kind of questions we ask and how we go about the process so you can learn from us. This isn't like theory crap about how you can get all energized or whatever. This is actually what we're doing. So the process is filter out the C players and get the A players and maybe like some B players as well, if you must be. Of course, every hiring process is going to say that, right? They're not going to be like, oh yeah, we're going to help you get the C players. All right, so the top grading process, for us internally, it's an 8-step process. First, you want to get as many people interested in the job as possible. The bigger your applicant pool, the bigger opportunities you have. So what that means for us is a lot of times we'll be hiring for one job, but we'll have like 2 or 3 job descriptions that kind of sell it in different ways so that we can make sure that we're capturing. For instance, we just brought on this fantastic photographer. Before we had like a jack of all trades creative. They would be the videographer, photographer, graphic designer. And she's like, yeah, I wouldn't have applied for that job, but because you posted it as a product photography job, I applied. So you may be self-limiting yourself by your job description. So you want to have that look good, tell the story, tell the brand, get them excited, get pumped. You want to sell to your customers as hard as you sell to people coming on board. And then of course, you want to get it out, spread the word, post however you can. One example I have of a compelling job description. So there's a company that does a garbage collection, right? How can you get people to pick up trash at, the first thing in the morning? Like, that's the least glamorous job. And the company had all sorts of turnover. They couldn't keep the people. It wasn't a sexy job. And what they did is they asked their top employees, like, why the heck do you work here? Like, what is it about this job that you love? And they found that the guy was training to be like a martial artist, right? So he loved the physicality of the job, and he loved that it was early in the morning, and then he could go and train in the afternoon. So once they recognized that, that was the spin for the job. It's like, come work out while you work. Get paid to work out. And like ever since then, they were able to like attract the right type of people who are committed to the job and love the job as well because they appreciated that aspect of the job. So sometimes you got to think creatively. It's a competitive market. So we'll post on relevant job boards. The resumes will come in. We'll screen them to our, kind of like depending on the applicant pool we're getting. If we're getting like 200 applicants, then I'll be very particular. They have to have a great, paragraph where they're talking about why they want to work here, and they have to have a great resume and all that. But if I'm only getting like 10 applicants, depending on it, then I may be a little, my hands may be tied. So after we screen that, we'll send out a personality test within the first, immediately. And then we're looking for them to respond to that personality test within 24 hours. Then after that, we have a phone call where our HR person calls them up and says, all right, here's the job. Just to be clear, you're going to get paid this. These are your hours. This is where you need to work. it's okay if you don't want to work here. Like if you didn't understand anything, like if you thought the job was something, like tell us and we'll stop the process here. We'll save everyone's time. So that goal is to just like set the expectations. And most importantly, we're setting the expectations of the top grading process. And the top grading process is every step of the way, we're going to be telling them, we're going to contact your previous supervisor, and we're going to ask them about your performance. Now tell them about what your supervisor would say about you in this situation. And what that does is they know that we're going to be contacting their supervisor, so if there's any conflict of information, then that's going to come out. So it's going to be a lot better technique to get the truth from people. Because the reality is anyone can talk about what they've done in the past and spin themselves in the light. And you get great interviewers, doesn't mean they're great workers. And then the final aspect of it is they have to arrange the reference calls. They have to schedule it, they have to do the work for it. So we set the expectations up front. And then after that, we have a competency interview. So this is like a skills interview. So if they're customer service, how do they respond to tickets? If it's design, I actually watch them design. Or if they're video editor, I watch them edit videos. And to make sure they are actually competent at the things they claim to do. In addition to that, I'll throw in a couple more questions to get a real brief feel for like the company fit and how they might work within our organization. And then step 6 is that top grading interview. And I've had some questions from our top grading interview process that you'll be able to start seeing how it works. There are 10 standard questions. You'll ask that for every single job. So it's a very tiring process, and it's very regimented, and it goes through all these things over and over and over again, and it's going to wear the candidate out. And once the candidate starts getting worn out from these questions, they're going to start opening it up, telling the truth.
All right, gents, great presentation, right? Eric is the man when he gets up on stage, and more importantly, he's the man when he gets off of stage, and he just spends time engaging with anyone that wants to talk to him. So if you've got a business and you want to get on Shark Tank, or you simply want to understand better operations, you want to grow an Instagram following, you want to start a YouTube channel, start a website, you simply want to grow facial hair, Eric is there to answer your questions, to be able to, talk with you and, to hear your specific needs, issues, and for you to be able to build a real relationship with him. And if you're interested, besides Eric, we've got Jose Zuniga, I've got Aaron Marino, I've got Raphael Schneider, Baron at the Effortless Jet, Andy Snavely over at Primer Magazine, AJ over at the Art of Charm. This is the event if you want to meet anyone in the men's lifestyle space. So if you're a creator, if you're a business owner, if you are just a fan of our content and you want to shake our hands and you want to basically tell us your story, that means a lot to me when people do that. But whatever it may be, I want to meet you at Menfluential 2018. So in the description of this video, you can go over, grab your ticket. Please grab them before the price goes up or before they're gone. Guys, I want to meet you in Atlanta this February. Take care. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.